We're the indie project Bee and Theo, and we've been living and travelling the world in vans for the past 6 years. We're currently renovating an abandoned stone barn in Portugal to turn into a beautiful tiny home for us and our cats Ginjey Bear and Furrnando. Follow our journey from the very beginning as we document the whole process of creating an off-grid home.
Thank you to Omaze who has sponsored today's video, and I'll talk a little bit more about them later. Good morning guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and I'm super excited this morning because I've just had a shower, I'm feeling fresh, and in about 15 minutes we're heading to Scotland. Look at poor little Furrnando sitting at the window hoping he can go out. He's been really good actually, so fingers crossed in the next few days we'll let him out. I think he's just trying to get to the bird feed, to be honest. So it's time to introduce you to my dad, Steve, who's literally packing up the van.
Scotland, here we come.
My parents absolutely love Scotland, so he's definitely excited about this trip. And they even went to Scotland on their honeymoon and go to Scotland every single chance they get. I'm pretty sure that I'm actually taking more stuff to Scotland than I brought all the way back from Portugal. We are currently on the A1 heading north, and we've got about a 350-mile drive. It says it's going to take about 8 hours, but we've already hit a massive traffic jam. We have just arrived at our home for tonight, and it actually took us 9 hours to get here, which is crazy, but we've just pulled up next to a beautiful loch. It's called Loch Leven, and actually the weather isn't too bad. It was raining like crazy on the way down here, but we've been blessed with dry weather and we got a nice place to park up for tonight. I think I spoke too soon because it's just started spitting with rain, but there's a few other camper vans about. There's one there and there's one over there, so we got company for tonight, but we're parked out of the way in a lovely little corner of the car park, and this is as good as car parks get. I mean, look at the view over the loch. It's absolutely beautiful, so this is definitely a good first location for our adventure in Scotland. And the best part about it is it's completely free, and I found it on the Park for Night app. It's well worth downloading it. If you're traveling around the UK, you're looking for places to wild camp, get the app because there's so many different areas that you wouldn't know about without it. You guys are probably wondering where we're going to sleep tonight, and it's so good. This is called a rock and roll bed, and these kind of vans all have them, and you basically just pull a lever like that, and then you have a full double bed. It's absolutely massive in here, it's crazy. So hopefully my dad won't be rolling onto me in the night. It's been a super long day. I'm just about to tuck into my dinner. I've got pasta, tuna and sweet corn that my mum made me. I think I'm going to be eating this for a few days. There's so much of it, but it's really nice. and I think as soon as I've eaten this, I'm going to go to bed. Good morning. I slept like a log last night, lights out as soon as I put my head to the pillow, although there wasn't actually a pillow, so that's something we need to sort out. But yeah, slept completely fine. It's a lovely comfortable bed, more than enough room, and I've just done my day 8 COVID test, so I need to go and drop that to a service station where there's a drop-off point, and that's the last test I have to do before I don't have to do any more tests in the UK. So this location was nice and quiet last night because it was actually next to a cemetery. Also, the reason we picked this location is because it's only 1 mile away from where I can drop off the COVID test. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Amaze, who have sponsored today's video. Amaze gives away one-of-a-kind prizes as well as experiences while donating money to charities across the world. One winner could score a Mercedes-Benz 4x4 Sprinter van with an $80,000 conversion by Vansmith. Enjoy a fully converted interior and your choice of adventure-ready exterior upgrades. You could have your van delivered to you or get flown out to the Vansmith shop in Colorado and road trip back. The conversion features things like a 210 watt solar power system, a max air rooftop fan, LED interior lighting, and a full size bed. The great thing is you will be supporting the Honnold Foundation, a charity that envisions a world where all people have equal access to opportunity and live in a balance with the environment. So for your chance to potentially win a 4x4 Sprinter van with an $80,000 conversion by Vansmith and support an amazing charity, go to amaze.com/indie. So I just arrived at the drop-off point and it's literally just in a service area. There's a metal box and that's where you post it, and then it will get sent to the lab, and hopefully I'll get a result back within the next 24 hours. So here it is, just next to this electric car charger is the Randox sample box drop-off. See you later, day 8. A good start to the trip. So basically we just stopped at a roundabout and a guy in, I think, a Land Rover or a Range Rover has just gone into the back of us. So my dad's just swapping details with the guy right now. It doesn't look like there's too much damage, but this has happened to me before with my dad when I used to come kayaking in Scotland, and someone just drove straight into the back of us, completely ripped off the back end of the car. So we're just trying to work out what's going on here. So you can see his car down here. There's some damage down here to his car on the bumper, some scratches. It's a Discovery. And then over here you can see it's obviously hit the ladder, and then it's creased our whole back end here, which isn't good. We've just swapped details of the accident, and the guy's saying that basically we can take it somewhere when we're back, get it into a shop, and they can give us a quote and this guy will pay for it. He's got a nice car. I think he's got some money behind him, so fingers crossed that he sticks to his word and we can get it fixed. But what a shame. But we're not going to let that ruin our epic adventure to Orkney, and we need to head off to the ferry now.
That's where we're going.
We have just arrived after a long drive in a place called Ginjey Bear, and now we are waiting for the ferry over to the Orkney Islands, which takes us to a place called St Mary's Hope. And the ferry actually takes only about an hour, and I can even see the Orkney Islands from here, so we're not far away at all. It's so nice to be able to hear the seagulls and the waves smashing against this massive concrete platform, and you can see just here there's a fishing boat that looks like it's had a very hard life, and in the distance over there all the way, that is Orkney, and that is where we're heading. And there's not very many cars waiting for the ferry at the moment. I think there's only about 4 or 5 cars so far, but I imagine it's going to get busy because we are early. Probably still got to wait about an hour until the ferry gets here. On the ferry, and it's crazy windy. I've done my hat up so tight that I'm losing blood flow to my head. It's beautiful already, the scenery. The waves are pretty big actually, bigger than when we came over from Spain, and this is only a tiny little ferry. There's car alarms going off everywhere. It sounds like the end of the world, but it's worth it for the adventure. And this ferry actually cost about £74, so it's not cheap, but it's well worth it. We have now arrived on Orkney. It's a fairly long journey to get here, but we've done it, and the weather's actually pretty decent. And right now we are heading to Ralph and Patty's house, who are my dad's friends, and he's not seen them in 2 years. Good morning, guys. I slept like an actual log last night. As soon as I put my head to the pillow, I was gone, and I really needed it because that was a long couple of days driving up here. But I'm so happy we're here. It's such a beautiful place of what I've seen so far, and I can't wait to explore the rest. Ralph and Patty have got such a beautiful place, and we spent some time last night in their house. They cooked us some lovely food and treated us like kings, so that was really nice. It's a mixed emotions this morning. I'm feeling really positive, but also I definitely miss Bee. It's been 3 days now, and I know she's in good hands, and I'm speaking to her every single day on the phone, but it's not the same as being with her, you know. But she needs this space, she needs this time away, and she's in safe hands. So yeah, like I say, I'm feeling positive, but it's the longest time we've been apart for many years, so it just takes a little bit of getting used to, but I'm really excited on what we're going to get up to today. So you can see Ralph and Patty's farmhouse in the distance. It's absolutely beautiful, and that's where my dad stayed last night, and I stayed here in this beautiful little area. It's like its own little garden, and I reversed the van in here onto these stones so I don't sink, although Orkney at the moment is very, very dry. And what they've done with this place is incredible. There's all these different areas to walk along. They've grown trees up. It's just stunning. And if I go down this path here, you'll see that they've got all their raised beds where they can grow their veggies and their food. And then guys, this is the best part about it. Check this out. Just past the compost bins, you have a beautiful view of the sea. There's definitely a theme in the last 3 or 4 videos where people are growing their own veggies and cultivating their own food, and in this time of uncertainty I think it's really important to do and be a little bit more self-sufficient. So when we get back to Portugal, I can't wait to start our veg patch, and there's something to be said about being by the sea as well. It's a really calming place and a calming vibe. So Ralph and Patty are both artists, and it really shows in the renovation that they've done with their house. This was a complete ruin when they bought it, without a roof and just the walls standing. And I love when you enter the property, you walk over this wooden bridge and across this burn. So a burn in Scotland is essentially just a small river, and it's really nice to walk across this and be greeted with this stunning old mill house, because that's what it used to be. It used to be a working mill house, and I just love what they've done with the doors and the windows. It's just been done so tastefully. And this stone is actually red sandstone, and the colour of the doors and windows just sets the stone off really nicely. And if I come over here, you can see this area here, this was actually where the mill house was working, so the wheel would have been in this room here and spinning with the water. And there's no mains gas on Orkney, so they use these gas bottles much like we do in Portugal, and now they've turned this into a lovely little workshop. So this was actually a working mill in 1870, a long time ago, and when Ralph and Patty bought it, it was empty for 40 years and had basically been taken over by pigeons. So they had a huge amount of work to do, and you can see what an amazing job they've done. In the garden there's this old millstone, and they've obviously found and dug up all these different items. It's really cool to see. You got old spades, and this right here, this fork, looks exactly like the one that I actually found in the barn only a couple of weeks ago. So it's really cool to see. It's just started spitting with rain a little bit, so I'm gonna go inside and show you how beautiful the inside is. So if I walk down the corridor past this beautiful bookcase and into what's probably my favourite room in the house, and this room has actually changed functions quite a bit. It's now their art studio because, as I mentioned, they're both artists. But it did start off as a living room and then a bedroom, and now it's their studio, and they've got this amazing big wood burner, which I imagine in the winter is just beautiful. And you can see the size of it. It's such a good working space, and you're up high, so it means that you get this stunning view out the window, which is just incredible, especially when the sun's shining like it is now. So the wind and rain has picked up a little bit, but we're in Scotland and we're on an island, so what do you expect? And right now we're going to jump in the van and go and explore. We've been driving for about half an hour and just arrived in this beautiful location called the Bay of Scale, and it's this lovely beach, and you can see all the way along here it's really stony, and then there's just beautiful white sand, and we got a nice dramatic sky as well. My dad keeps teasing me because I'm so cold. It's literally about 30 degrees colder than it was in Portugal where I was just a couple of weeks ago. So it's hard to adjust to this weather, but it is stunning scenery. And right now I need to cook up some lunch. I got some beans on toast. So as I said, I'm just about to cook up my beans on toast. This is a staple for me when I'm back in the UK. And for you guys who don't know about this is the Ridge Monkey. It's an absolute secret weapon in camper vans. If you haven't got an oven, this will act like an oven. It's two pans that go together on top of each other, and you can cook things like pizza in it. So it's amazing for smaller vans that don't have an oven. That right there is some incredible camper van cuisine. We've decided to go for a walk along the beach, and it was so nice to just spend half an hour sitting in the van looking out the side door over the sea and hearing the waves lapping on the beach. It's a beautiful part of the world, and now I've got to navigate all these massive stones and try not to fall over to get onto the actual beach. There's some beautiful stones on this beach, really rounded off from the sea, and I can imagine picking all these stones off the beach and building yourself a lovely cottage, but I don't suppose the council will be very happy with you. It's been a really long time since I've done a lovely long beach walk. The sun's even trying to come out. We've been so lucky so far with the weather, and this beach is gorgeous. It's nice to stretch my legs after sitting in the car for 2 days to get here. It's just started raining. I definitely think we've had the best of the weather at this location, so we're going to head to another. So Orkney is littered with standing stones, which is really cool. You see them all over the island. But there's two main sites. One of them's called the Ring of Brodka that we just went past, and it's a lot bigger. And the one we've just arrived at right now is called the Standing Stones of Stannis. These standing stones are absolutely massive. Just look at them. They're huge. And apparently these are the oldest standing stones in Britain, and they were raised about 5,000 years ago. And there actually used to be more of them, maybe about 11 or 12 all around here, but I'm not sure what happened to the others. But they're just magnificent. They really look great against the really dark sky. It's really hard to get an idea of how big these standing stones actually are, but I've just done some measurements by standing up against the biggest one, and I reckon about 18 to 20 foot. Absolutely huge, so you can only imagine how these were raised. So some of these stones are actually really thick as well, so you can see here, that's my hand. Everyone knows I've got a massive hand. So these are big stones, and I borrowed my dad to show you guys just the sheer size of these things. Look at that. He's about what, 7 foot?
5'8" if I'm lucky.
5'8". I'm absolutely knackered. What a crazy 3 days. 2 days traveling up here, and today travelling around the island and seeing some of the sights. There's so much to see on Orkney, and I definitely recommend it if you're in the area, or even if you're not, plan a visit to Orkney, because so far it's been incredible and there's so much more to see. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and tomorrow I'm going fishing and I will make sure that I vlog it, so make sure you tune in for the next one, and I'll see you guys later. So for your chance to potentially win a 4x4 Sprinter van, go to amaze.com/indie.